Hey everyone, YuGiOh here. So far we have completed 8 Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories challenge runs since the starting of this series last year. All in all, things are going along great without issue. During the process of editing the video for April Fool's Day, I've come to realise a glaring mistake in my past videos. I have only dueled 38 out of 39 duelists available to us in game. This breaks the all opponents must be dueled rule, so my bad on that one. The opponent that's missing is none other than Duel Master K, a free duel AI that challenges you using a copy of your current deck. Duel Master K is an opponent best left to the post game for the purposes of these challenges. This way, he'll be using an exact copy of the deck used against the final 6 in each run. So, I guess things worked out in our favour for this one. The decks we'll need to use against Duel Master K for these challenges are as follows. We'll need to hit him with the Dinosaur deck, the Serpent deck, the Insect deck including Pocketstation Insects, Rituals, Zombies, Beast Warriors, the Xmas Deck, which is basically Pocketstation Rituals, and lastly, Pyro. The goal will simply be to defeat Duel Master K. So with that said, here are the rules specific to this challenge. We must use the exact same deck as what was used to clear the campaign. Number 2, we can only use one equip card per turn. This is to mimic the AI behaviour. And lastly, number 3, no fusions outside of the theme type, i.e. no metamorphing a Jiraiya into a launcher spider. So with that out of the way, let's jump into things canonically, starting off with the Dinosaur deck. For new players to this game, Duel Master K is an AI opponent whose job is to help familiarise you with the fusions and combos available to you in your current deck. This character uses a base level AI. What I mean by that is, he lacks both the 20 card hand and the Millennium Eye ability you would see in opponents like the Final 6. In terms of difficulty, I'd place him as strong as probably the preliminary tournament opponents. Given that he is a basic AI, he will almost always limit himself to one equip card when first summoning a monster. If there are other set cards on the field from prior turns, the AI is at least smart enough to use them. This is why I implemented the first rule, to give the opponent a fair handicap for these duels. I'd be curious to see just how well the AI handles certain decks. If I were to give some estimates right now, I think the really easy heavy hitter decks, they'll thrive with. By heavy hitter decks, I mean decks like the Xmas Deck, Pocketstation Insects, and maybe Beast Warrior. As for the other decks like Pyro and Serpent, where there's more of an equip card ratio to monster ratio, I think the opponent's going to struggle. Not because they don't know what they're doing, but more than likely, I think they'll draw a dead hand. One thing also worth noting are field spells. Normally, these are a great benefit to our single type decks. They have saved me throughout the story and were basically my win condition. But for a Duel Master K fight, they're kind of a dead draw. Thankfully, it's a dead draw for the both of us. There's no point beefing up our monsters on the field because we're literally running the same deck. It zeroes out from that point. The only notable impact that may have is if I have a deck which runs Acid Trap Hole, which I think maybe only 2 of them do. So, if I have a deck that runs Acid Trap Hole, that will be a benefit to us. Aside from that, like I said, dead draw. Now, let's get back to the duel. And we've managed to pick up our momentum again. The one thing we have to remember is that our opponents also have as many Raigekis as we do. Thankfully, by the looks of things, it doesn't look like he's dropping it anytime soon. Attacking a practical with a Brachioradus, we attack once with Megazala, and attack once more with Brachioradus number 2. Down to 600 life points, how does he respond? With no Raigeki. Thank frick for that. In the absence of a Raigeki, we might as well just use a Spellbinding Circle. Does absolutely nothing, but I just wanted to see the effect because this is the only deck that has it. We attack for game with Brachioradus, and our Dinosaur Duel Master K goes down. And this took one attempt to achieve. Next up is our Serpent deck, and I'm not really expecting this one to be much of a challenge. We do have some strong cards in our deck such as Seeking Dragon and Aqua Dragon, but again, it's filled to the brim with equip cards, not a lot of traps, and I guess 3 Raigeki. My first 2 decks didn't really have an overall strategy, it's simply who can get the strongest monster on the field first, and who can attack the quickest. As we move down the chain to some of the other more complex decks, we might have some strategies to showcase. But for now, we attack with Aqua Dragon to another Aqua Dragon, and attack again with Takramenos. Without dropping too hard of a spoiler, the next video I have scheduled to release is on April 1st, and the deck itself primarily has Sea Serpents as their win condition. I'll leave it to you guys to guess what or who it could possibly be. But enough of that, let's get back to the duel. Thankfully, Spike Seadra is an absolute gun of a card. Given that he has a Pluto Guardian Star, it basically gives us a free equip card against anything that is not a Spike Seadra. But anywho, number one, getting back to the game, we pop off just a little crush, and attack once with Aqua Dragon, and attack for game with Spike Seadra. Duel Master K, Sea Serpent version goes down, and this as well took one try to achieve. Marvelous. The third deck on our roster is Insects. Specifically, the non-Pocketstation Insects. Before I get too deep into this duel, I just want to cover off something, as those of you with astute vision may have picked up on my free duel roster. You may have noticed some missing duelists. There are a few reasons for this. Numero uno, which is mainly the key reason why it happens, I overwrite my original save data as I prep for another run. A lot of the times when I'm going for a final 6, I sometimes don't save the game at the end, so I have to go back and revert to an earlier save game, rebuild the deck, and then jump back into free duel for these challenges. Anywho too, let's get back to the duel. Old mate Duel Master K has used a Megamorph on a YuGiOh, which has already been boosted by a Bright Castle. Safe to say, I'm screwed. But thankfully, we have a crush card. It's just a little crush, and we pass the duel back to him. Oh, that was... okay. This is a problem. The only way we can win is if we have our own Megamorph, and by the looks of things, we don't. Unfortunately, I rage reset at this moment, so I lost that first duel. So I decide to kick things back up and go for round 2. Hopefully this time, there are no rage quits. Apologies again for that one. The Insect deck seems to be fairly balanced in terms of equip to monster card ratios. The deck also features both a Crush card and a Raigeki. So Duel Master K actually has 6 removal options available to him, which is not good for us. Though, if we go by the current trend, he seems to favour using Megamorph, so let's hope he doesn't do that again. And even if he does, we have a pretty nice soundtrack to bob our heads to. I'll be sure to leave the track list in the description for those of you who don't know where these songs are from. They're fairly common, so I'm sure the majority of you won't have too hard of a time trying to guess them. But enough of that. Getting back into the action, we pass the turn back to Duel Master K, and he responds with his own YuGiOh. That's okay, we definitely have this given that I have a boosted Quagga Hercules on the field. Summoning forth a Hunter Spider, we remove his attacking monster and attack again for game. And we win. This took 2 tries, but I'm not overly convinced. I think I need to make this type best 2 out of 3, just to see who is truly the victor in this challenge. We're 1 for 1, so let this be the decider. And I guess it's also an excuse to keep bobbing my head to the Behaving song. Starting things off turn 1, we have at least an equip card and an insect type. We should be right unless he opens up with a Megamorph or a boosted YuGiOh. By the looks of things, we got this. Drawing into a Megamorph is basically the equivalent of a free Raigeki for me. Whatever I chuck it on is going to be stronger than whatever he's going to summon against us. Oh, there we go. He did summon a YuGiOh. Passing the duel back to K, he summons nothing of note. We're good. Oh geez, double Megamorph. Like I said with our rules, only 1 equip card per turn, otherwise, as you can clearly see, we would be steamrolling this opponent, and that's just not fair. We are now getting to our final turn. Passing the game back to Duel Master K, he has not drawn neither a Crush card nor a Raigeki. Big sad for this bloke. Attacking his face down monster, it's a Quagga Hercules, we attack for game and conclude the match. We win. Intensifiers haven't done that yet, and what did we get? We got a Trial of Nightmares. That's probably some foreshadowing for what we're about to experience. We are now onto Pocketstation Insects. I am worried about this. This is probably a deck that's actually going to be a contender for us purely because of Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth. If the AI behaves in the same way that all slap in the face AIs behave, he will likely have a Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, plus an equip card or a Megamorph in his hand almost every time. Getting a dead draw, look at that. Right on cue, he gives us a boosted Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth. That is a problem. We thankfully have a Crush card, but I think that's only a bandage solution. Let's see what he plays. Oh, there we go. A little bit better. It's a boosted Javelin Beetle. Let's see what our hand has in store for us, and it's pretty bad. Having the 1 equip card limitation is pretty fair for this, but I guess when you have a Pocketstation deck, it becomes more problematic than I initially thought. I will say, I think we have a level playing field, but for the sake of this duel, I think we're done. Oh boy. Getting to our hand, we do not draw a Megamorph, so I think that's game. Dumping everything we have, we got nothing. I think I'm a bit tilted at this point. I put myself in defense mode and see if I can survive another turn. So far so good, and so far not so good. Oh boy. He attacks me again with Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, and I really need a Megamorph. Oh, darn. Regardless, I pop off a Raigeki in vain because that's all I really can do. And I think that's a loss for me. Let's award Game 1 to Duel Master K, dust ourselves off, and chuck ourselves back into the gauntlet with this guy. We lose. On to match number 2. Oh, and for those wondering, so you don't have to jump back into the description, the song playing at the moment is the daytime soundtrack to Beetle Land from Digimon World 1. Starting things off, we set a YuGiOh. I'm purposely not putting equip cards just in case he summons something strong, like a Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth. I don't want to waste Megamorphs, they're a bit of a commodity at the moment, so instead, we're going to clear the field and attack his life points directly. Passing the turn back to Duel Master K, he responds with, can we get another Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth? No, thankfully it's a Great Moth, and we can deal with that. Having a Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth of our own, we summon it. Stupidly, I don't know why I didn't throw an equip card on it. I think I was just giving the opponent another handicap. Either that or I'm playing more overly cautious than I need to be. Setting a Raigeki, my plan for this duel will be to gear up my field as much as possible and set myself up for a one-turn kill, throwing literally everything I have against him. Drawing into a Javelin Beetle, I think we might do just that. Again, I don't know why I'm not using the Megamorphs. I was probably very tired, likely was very tired. I think I did this at 2 AM. The joys of having a baby. Nonetheless, Duel Master K goes down, and it's on to Game 3. Let's see once and for all who wins this challenge. Having completed 2 games against Duel Master K with this Pocketstation deck, forget what I said about the AI being dumb. This guy is devastating with this deck. He absolutely thrives. In both duels he has opened up with a Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, or at least a boosted Javelin Beetle. That's some Heishin level intelligence right there. And speaking of, I think we might summon our own boosted Javelin Beetle. And see, what did I say? Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, consistently 3 duels in a row. There must be another mechanic to the AIs that I'm not fully aware of, more than likely that's the case, where they try and put their strongest card to the top of the deck where possible. There shouldn't be any deck ratio formulas because he's just running a copy of our deck. But regardless, we'll leave him on 50 life points and let's see how he responds. He sets nothing, and this duel goes to us. Summoning forth a Quagga Hercules, we attack him with a Pugum and attack for game with our remaining monster. Duel 3 goes to us, and the match concludes with us the victor. Hooray for that. Now, it's on to the rituals. Strap yourselves in, peeps, this one might take a while. Now, I'm a little scared of my ritual deck. Not specifically due to its raw power, because we know it has none. But for the sheer fact that I loaded the damn thing with every trap imaginable, plus 3 Raigeki. It's like fighting Seto's 3 back row on steroids. And it does not help that I only have 9 monsters to deal with the 6 monster destruction traps in this deck. Specifically, I'm talking about the 3 acid trap holes in this deck and the 3 widespread ruin. If it's not enough to just contend with those, I have to be lucky enough to have him not use a Raigeki on us, which trust me, he will friggin' do. This is one of the decks where I'll need to have some sort of strategy. Things that are working to my advantage is the knowledge that he only has 9 monsters. If I get rid of him, it leaves me free to dump my entire hand each turn without fear of attack. His back row is what we have to play around. The key thing to realise is, I really only need to remove the widespread ruin. Fake trap and acid trap hole are harmless to me if I have a monster over 3000 attack. Letting him clog up his back row with traps and useless cards is what I'm going to try and do. There may be a slight problem. The longer I drag this duel out, the more chances we'll have him drop a Raigeki on us. There you go, as you just saw on screen. So this is what we have going for us. Guess what we have going against us? Given that I'm implementing the 1 equip card per turn rule, I'm not able to leave his monsters on the field for too long because he's just going to power them up himself. This means we'll be forced to attack into a back row at least every 2 to 3 turns. That's one problem. The second problem is that I only have 9 monsters, and with him having 3 Raigekis, he has the ability to get rid of all my combo pieces. That is actually how I've lost to him the past few times. Yes, I wouldn't call that a spoiler. This guy is that hard with my current deck that there will be some losses. This is why you'll see me at times not follow the strategy I said earlier, simply because I'm friggin' tilted at this point. It just goes to show that my ritual deck should have had at least 1 or 2 Harpy's Feather Dusters. I genuinely needed them against Seto 3 in the campaign, and I definitely need them now against myself. Oh well. At the moment, my brain is trying to hold on to as many Raigeki as possible just for a 1-turn win, but in doing so, unfortunately, I'm allowing him to set more back row cards rather than activating him with lower level monsters. At least I have Megamorphs in my hand. Drawing them make me a bit more comfortable in pulling off a 2-turn win. Oh, by the way, the soundtrack you're listening to in the background is the Jack 3 Dark Maker final boss fight. I love that game. Anywho, number 3, back to the duel, we finally decide to clear out our hand and summon forth a Wicked Dragon with an Osat's head. Given that I have 1 set trap card, I want to bait out a monster summon rather than another trap set, and it looks like it worked to my favour. Looking to survive the mirror match, I decide to drop one of my Beast Fangs into Wicked Dragon, just to protect me from his Wicked Dragon, which I believe is what's set on the field right now, given that it stayed in defense mode. And by the looks of things, I was right. Strangely, Duel Master K fused into a Komori Dragon. That's probably the only dragon to dragon fusion aside from Meteor Black Dragon. Komori Dragon fusion results if you fuse a dragon with a fiend, or if you fuse a dragon with a card whose primary guardian star is Moon that is not a type that dragon can fuse with. What the heck does that mean? I think the best way I can tell you is via an example. You can fuse a Karibo with a dragon to obtain Komori Dragon. Happy days there. If you fuse a Dark Plant with a dragon, you'll end up with Black Dragon Jungle King. This is because the card's type took priority over the card's guardian star. Getting back to the duel, we take this opportunity to try and clear the back row. By the looks of things, given that we attacked into a fake trap, the other 2 cards that are currently set on the field are not destruction cards. From memory, the destruction cards take priority over the fake trap cards. So, what that means, once we summoned our Ryukin Shin powered, we can finally start attacking into Duel Master K. Took us long enough. Let's kick off a Seizure Procedure for the one, the only, Zero the frickin' Mont. Absolutely love that card. We be sure to beef him up with every freaking equipped card we have available to us. Getting him over 3000 means that he can attack over an Acid Trap Hole, and a Megamorph for safety means that we can hit this down in 2 turns, hopefully. With my earlier deductions correct, it is in fact a fake trap that was set on the field. And if that one was a fake trap, it means the other one that's set there should also be a fake trap. In the event that I'm wrong, I decide to fire off a Raigeki just to see if I can get a free hit on the opponent. Nope, I was correct, another fake trap. Looking good so far, we seem to have cleared almost all the trap cards. With a trusty throwaway monster in our hand, we decide to summon it and attack directly to get rid of the other trap card. This time, it's a widespread ruin. Thank frick for that. Half the life points down, another half to go. Duel Master K sets another trap card. If my odds in my head are correct, that one should be an Acid Trap Hole. So I chuck a Megamorph and absolutely YOLO it, and we win. Finally, Duel Master K goes down, and this entire ordeal took 6 duels. Which, by the way, each duel takes about 10 to 15 minutes, so that was fun. We catch our breath, and it's time to move on to the zombies. I'm gonna keep quiet and let the spookiness settle in. Yes, sufficiently spooky. The aim of the game with our zombie deck is to navigate around the 3 widespread ruins and summon forth a monster over 2300 attack as soon as possible. But Jono, why the urgency? Well, my zombie deck is rather balanced in terms of monsters to equips. This means Duel Master K is either going to aim for a Curse of Dragon or a sub 2500 attack monster that's boosted with an equip. I don't really want to give him the opportunity to set up, so it's on us to drop a Megamorph early for safety. On an unrelated note, for those wondering, the soundtrack you're listening to is from Gex Enter the Gecko, from the Scream TV stages. Okay, back to the duel. Now, I may have forgotten one small thing. Pumpkin the King of Ghosts has 2000 defense. I attacked him with my Pumpkin. The result, I lost 200 life points. My bad there, because I'm an idiot. Passing the duel back to him, he responds with nothing. And we, ever so lucky that we are, draw into a Great Mammoth of Golfine. Attacking his face down with our Great Mammoth, it turns out to be a Dragon Zombie. It could have been a Great Mammoth, but nonetheless worked out well in our favour. We have gotten Duel Master K down to 200 life points. We are basically on the last turn. He summons nothing, and we pop off a Raigeki for the win. I think that's the first one for this video. Gaining back control of our monsters, we attack for game with Dragon Zombie. And we win. Zombie Duel Master K goes down, and we did this first try. Hooray for us. Oh yeah, what a track, what a track. It's time for the Beast Warrior deck. The music you're listening to is from none other than Digimon World 4, specifically the Goblin Fortress soundtrack. Shout out to the Gob Gob Room. With the overhyped intro out of the way, we're back to using our D tier Beast Warrior deck. I'm not expecting this duel to be overly difficult. The deck I used to defeat the final 6 had about 9 monsters, a metric buttload of equips, and 0 traps from memory. If Duel Master K was a human player instead of an AI, I'd be expecting him to brick probably 8 out of his 10 hands. He does however have access to 3 Raigeki, though with the way this duel is going, it doesn't look like he's using them anytime soon. The strategy for this duel is simple. Drop a monster over 2000 attack, and respond with an equip card if Duel Master K does the same. There is a minor inconvenience we have to deal with, and that, as you saw earlier, is Nekogao number 2 with 2000 defense. Nothing too strong, it just means that I have to have at least one monster with an equip card in order to progress the duel. Whittling down a massive chunk of his life points, we pass the turn back to Duel Master K and see how he responds to us. There is a chance he could drop a Raigeki, but it looks like he didn't. He set a Rude Kaiser, I can tell because it's a Mars. We drop a Raigeki for the win, and attack for game with Battle Steer. There we go. The Beast Warrior Duel Master K deck goes down in a first try victory. Dashing through the snow, it's time for the Xmas deck, let's go. There's probably no point in even showcasing this one, but it was a challenge, I guess, that we did, so we gotta add it to this clip. The deck goal is a race to get Blue Eye's Ultimate Dragon on the field. If you summon that, you win. Simple as that. My starting hand had one of the behemoths, and look at that, my second hand has a second. This is literally a second turn win. Summoning both Ultimate Dragons, we attack with 1, and attack with 2, and Xmas Duel Master K goes down. We win, in one try no less. Let's get ready to light some things on fire because it's time for our Pyro deck. And oh boy, this one's going to be a doozy under our current rules. The final 6 Pyro deck differed significantly from the story deck. We dropped the majority of the monsters from it, including, sadly, the bombastic Fire Eye. We ended up making the deck unbalanced with several equip cards and 3 traps. This is another one of the few types in our playthrough that included 3 widespread ruins in the final deck. All well and good for beating the game, but not so good for us in a mirror match. To top things off, the Pyro deck relied heavily on equip cards in order to function. Fire Yarrow was the main target for him. Having the rule of 1 equip card per turn is going to significantly slow this deck down. Fire Yarrow goes from an equip sync to basically being a widespread ruin trap fodder, given that it needs at least 2 equip cards to stand up to my other monsters. At minimum, we'll need to summon a Flame Cerberus or a boosted Vermilion Sparrow in order to stand a chance against Duel Master K, all while navigating the traps and Raigeki. As you witnessed on screen, we're going tit for tat in terms of traps, which is a good thing. We've already managed to exhaust 2 of the widespread ruins at a cost to a few free hits to our life points. Sorry, counted a bit early here. There is the second widespread ruin, my bad. Stepping away from the duel briefly, for those wondering, the song you are listening to is the Battle of Ling Wu Forces track from Dynasty Warriors 3. This was the stage where Zuran and Lu Jun launched the fire attack against the Shu forces. Bit of a fun fact about me as a YouTuber / streamer. I first started my YouTube channel many years back before Twitch was even a thing. I used it to upload short mixes I recorded back when I was a very amateur DJ. Those mixes have since been deleted because they hit literally every copyright claim imaginable. Big whoopsie right there. Fast forward 10 years later, I bought myself a capture card and started uploading speedruns of the Dynasty Warriors games. From then on, my home internet got upgraded to fiber and I started my Twitch streaming. Fast forward yet again another 3 years, after many long personal life hiatuses, I stopped streaming on Twitch and switched to uploading YouTube videos. The first one being the Can You Beat YuGiOh Forbidden Memories with a Dinosaur only deck. And here we are now, slowly descending into frustrated madness together. Couldn't have picked a better group to follow me down that spiral. Thanks everyone. I should also thank my wife for hyping me up to keep this series going. I became a father last month, and till this day, whilst taking care of our child together, she still encourages me to take a break and work on my videos from time to time. This Raigeki goes out to you, honey bunny. Just ignore the fact that it came from my opponent and not me. Getting back to the duel, I completely forgot that I had Dark Hole in this deck. That would have been very handy to have early on when the first stack of trap cards was set against me. But that also makes me a little bit more anxious because it means that he can also use it against me too. None of that actually matters right now because I've bricked the last like 2 to 3 hands. Seriously, what the heck is going on? I told you this duel was going to be a struggle. Throwing things back to Duel Master K, it looks like that he's run out of traps. I finally draw into a monster, but I'm purposely not going to power it up. Instead, I'm going to try and bait him into attacking me so I can clear his field with my own trap card. Let's see if he takes it. He summons, he equips, yes. Okay, it's a Flame Cerberus, that is really good. There we go, jebaited, and he's been taken out by a widespread ruin. Passing the turn back to us, we load up our monster with an equip card and start whittling down his life points finally. Don't ask me why I said it, I was a bit tilted at this point. Attacking his life points directly, we are now onto the second last turn of the duel. No matter what he summons, it doesn't matter. He can power up his monsters to his heart's content, but that won't matter. We win next turn. Passing it back over to me, I set a card just for the sheer sake of doing it, pop off a Raigeki for the win, and we attack for game with Million Sparrow. We win. Pyro Duel Master K goes down first try, and that basically wraps up every single type we've done thus far. We obtain a Dragon Piper and can now sign off this video. Hey, what is this? Is this a sneak peek into our next challenge run? Short answer is yes. Yes, you awesome people, it is. You will just have to be patient, however, until April 1st to see it. But Jono, what deck is this? It definitely isn't a single type run. Well, how the turntables. I've actually dropped spoilers for this run in the comment section of some of my earlier videos. Heck, I even dropped a massive spoiler in one of my shorts that I recently uploaded. You'll just have to figure it out yourself. Putting the hype act aside, it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. You can simply search the monsters up on Yugipedia and get an idea of what we're playing via process of elimination. All I ask is, don't spoil the fun for yourself, or that for others. But straight out kudos to you if you were able to figure things out purely by looking at this deck alone without the wikis. In terms of Duel Master K difficulty, I'd rate this as one of the more easier decks, purely because it has a heavy reliance on fusions, has 0 traps, and contains a total of 3 equip cards. That's right, only 3 equip cards, and by the way, 0 Raigeki. Very easy for Duel Master K, but an absolute nightmare for the story mode campaign. With this sneak peek out of the way, Duel Master K goes down first try. He awards us a Skull Servant, and now we can truly say that we've finished up all the current deck Duel Master K runs. Hey everyone, Jono here. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I apologise for the lack of full runs these past 2 months. I've had some personal things pop up that have caused significant delays to my schedule. The next full run is due to release on April 1st, so be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified of its release. To all my donators and supporters, you have definitely not been forgotten. I've added all your names to the credits of that April video because it's been in the works since mid-February. I am not joking about that. Anywho, that about wraps up this video. As always, stay awesome people. Hope you all draw an alternate art Raigeki for the win, and I'll be seeing you all soon.